And hello to all my friends. I'd like to welcome you in. My name is Scott Sagent, and today I'll be doing your Quadrants video for 2023, the much-awaited Quadrants video. So what is a quadrant and how does it apply to you? Well, each sign is getting your own video, your own divination. I've done all the heavy lifting and all the reading stuff ahead of time, so you'll notice I don't even have a tarot card on this table. That's all been done. We're just going to go over your notes here. So what is a quadrant? A quadrant is a quarter of a circle. So if we look at your year, like the full encompassing circle, we're going to take a piece of the pie out of that and break it down one quarter at a time. Each quadrant is going to represent 3 months of your year. The first quadrant is going to be January, February, March. The second quadrant will be April, May, June. The third will be July, August, September. And the fourth, of course, October, November, December. Now, of course, if you're great at taking notes, you only have to kind of watch this video once. You take some awesome notes that you can refer back to. For everybody else, this video will be up permanently. It's not going anywhere. So you can come back to reflect on your quadrants as they happen. I think it's best to check out your quadrant right before the new one starts so you can reflect back on the one that just passed and also get your new information for the one that you're about to live so you can remember and kind of refresh. So either way you're going to do that will be just fine. And let's go over a couple important other things here. Of course, this is the only time of year that I do quadrants it's basically because I go out a whole year. And the further out you go and the further out you look in divination, the fuzzier it gets. I think that's pretty much self-explanatory to everybody. Most people understand that. And for that reason, I usually don't divine out this far. I don't extrapolate out for 12 months. Usually I do like 6 at the most. So this is the only time of year that I do that, first of all. And, divination forecasting here is an outline. So this is not the specifics of your entire year, but it presents an outline that you can plan and prepare very important things too. So for example, we're going to look at things like vacation amongst 10 other topics here. So what is the best quadrant for you to take a vacation in? Spirit's going to figure this out by your sign and give you a couple bingos here, a couple little peaks or little marks here, little check marks on the map of when this would be the best time for you guys, for your sign to do that. Of course, this is a general reading and we have a lot of bubble energy tuning in to your sign, and that muddles it up a little bit. So that's why you really need a personal at the end of the day. And quadrants for the first time is being offered as a personal product, an audio product, so that way you have a keepsake and something to refer back to as well. But it's all about you and that. So what else are we going to talk about here? First of all, it's going to be generally a positive reading. The reason I do that, I don't do all just positive readings. Some people do that. I don't. I kind of give you the whole thing. But to keep this kind of short and concise, we cannot talk about every single thing that is going to happen in your year. And both, whether we talk about good or bad things, they're both good for planning and preparation, because the bad things you would just try to avoid and the good things you would just go and move towards. Because at the end of the day, they're both functional. They both get the job done, but one is much better well received than the other. Much people would gravitate toward the positive, and hey, if it was a reading that was all about negativity, nobody wants to hear that. And then there would be those people that would be scared of certain events, and that just doesn't help. That only kind of brings it in more. It attracts it more. So we don't want any of that stuff. So this is going to be a relatively positive reading, long story short. Okay, so without further ado, now that you understand the ground rules, let's get moving with planning and preparing for your year. Okay, Pisces, it is your turn for your quadrants here. 2023, you're going to notice there's no cards on my table. It's because all the card work is done and notated on my little cue card here, my little go-to. So this way I can just kind of reel it off all to you, save us all a bunch of time, and get you on with your year. So let's get started, guys. Quadrant 1, the big theme for the entire circle of these 3 months, which is January, February, and March, is they show actually a repeat what we had for another sign here. I forget which one it was right now, but it was literally the same exact message, in that Pisces are recovering from the previous year financially. A lot of you are. Of course, Christmas is a big part of that. The economy and work situations and the whole bit are all parts of that. But they show that money is in strife here in Quadrant 1, which means it is a challenging fix here of finances that are occurring. It's probably the best idea here to limit spending, to try to save as much as you can in this quadrant. It's probably the best of all the quadrants for saving, at least advice goes. Now, besides that, they were very not chatty with you guys in Quadrant 1, so there's not really a lot to be worried about. A couple little things they want to highlight, and then they're just kind of leaving that as it is. Quadrant 2 for you guys, adversely, is packed. We got chock full information there. So the first ping we have for Quadrant 1 is that this is a good time. There's 2 different aspects to this because they brought this up as a ping for taking risks, and they also brought it up as a ping for when to be safe and conservative. So there's times to do both that they want to talk about both going on here. So quadrant 1 for risks, they bring in message coming in early. So this is going to be probably January when you want to take risks. And probably not so much February or March, if I had to guess. Of course, time is fluid. It's not going to hit everybody the same way. And that is why you need a personal one of these and not just a group, a general. But early, the message is early. Early in the quadrant is when this message comes in. They're saying this is the best time for risks. Don't do risks later in the quadrant, okay? Now, for safe and conservative, they say basically to be the king here of conservative. So that lines up with the financial message we talked about, and that also lines up with where they told you to be risky. If you have to take risks, it's got to be early. After that, you just got to play it safe and conservative, especially financially and fiscally as we move out of quadrant 1. That's literally all they wanted to discuss there. Now let's get into your big one, quadrant 2. This is where there are chatterboxes and just talk my head off. Okay, so the big theme is boss mode, okay? It's my Emperor card. So basically, you are the boss here. They want you to be the supreme, it's the God card in tarot, so be the supreme authoritative power over these 3 months in your life. Now, this is April, May, and June. And the first, they're also, with the Oracle Angel card there, they're bringing up you already know. So a lot of you already know what this boss mode is about, what you need to take charge of. A lot of people, it's usually work type stuff, but for different people, there are different things. There's different Pisces going through different situations. You're not all alike. We have a ping here for work. That's our first work ping. They bring in mental action. So this is making up your mind with something to do in the work corner. Work corner is a big place too. It's work, business, enterprise, area of study, collegiate courses, retirement if you're of that age, entrepreneurship, hobbies, interests. For most people, the JOB, but it's a wide variety of things. So depending on what you're trying to do, that whatever applies to you is what they are saying here. In quadrant 2, you got to make up your mind about. Very much get decisive action toward it. It doesn't mean you actually have to do this, but they want you to decide to do it. So for an example of that, let's say, April, you decide, okay, well, I'm going to really kind of decide where I want my work career path to go. And if I decide if it's going the right way or if I need to change things drastically. And then you decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to start looking for a new job, but it's going to be later in the year. Okay, so that would be a perfect example of this. They're showing mental action where you made up your mind, but you're not pulling the trigger till later, and that's just fine. They just want you to get up here, secure and sound of what you're trying to do, probably so you can put it out in the universe and they can help bring it to you. Okay, next ping we have is for love. This is our first love ping. We have strong bonds going on. Very strong magnetic attraction in the wings here for a lot of Pisces, so that's good connotation for my singles. Also good for my couples and married couples. The whole bit, they're just strong bonds. Everybody just strongly connected to what you're trying to do, attached to your heart, attached to your love corner. Love corner is a big place too. It is, your family as well expands that out. That expands out to your family and also close friends, anybody close to your heart. So kind of the whole bit, it's just a great card to come in, great energy to come in for quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 pinged finances as this is a time where you really need to do your finances alone. Focus on maybe just the thing that you are doing for you here financially. Not so much about, let's say, the family's finances or other people's finances. Really worry about your own here. They basically say that you're being guided, so maybe you're learning more things or other people are teaching you to do certain things. And they also show that all that glitters is not gold. So keep that in mind, especially with things that you're buying, that not everything is going to be the way it looks. It's like the example I always give is like a lemon car. A lot of people know what that means. If you don't, it's basically something that looks and appears a certain way, but underneath the underlying layers, it's not. So it's a car that looks nice, drives nice when you test drive it, but then when you drive it home, the next day you drive it to work and it breaks down on you, or it has other problems and it has stuff that you never saw coming. It's like that's what a lemon is. It's that energy of all that glitters is not gold. Things are not what they appear. And usually I say that could be about people too, but this is coming up for finances for you guys. So this is something you're spending money on. So make sure that what you're spending money on is a smart decision. Really get into it and be a little detective about what you're trying to do. If you're buying a new car or a new house, get into the nitty gritty. Make sure you've gone through everything. Get good opinions and so forth. Our health ping, as we continue down your long quadrant 2, is about patience, first of all. And they want you to burn something down, literally to complete change. We want complete change in quadrant 2 with health. So there's something here that you guys have to, be gentle with yourself with patience. So it's causing an impatience coming in, and it's not something that you necessarily like to do. It's like, when you suffer through a diet, that's kind of the energy of it. It's like you don't want to do it, but you have to be patient because the results are on their way. It's something like that. So when they say burn it down and complete change, there is a drastic, maybe a lifestyle change that some of you are doing, whether you're adding something to your life in health to improve your health, or you're removing something. It doesn't matter. They're both complete change, but they really want you to kind of restructure this entirely in Quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 also brings up the busy, productive ping at home. It's really good to get busy at the house. Okay, your home, whether it's working on your home, renovations to the home, working from home for some people, or just doing projects and improving your life at home. Okay, so busy, productive coming up is a great thing there. Hey guys, we also got vacation coming up in Quadrant 2. They bring up the Sun card, which is my greatest card in the tarot deck. So your best time to vacation in the entire year is Quadrant 2, April, May, June. Okay. Also with the Sun, they bring in tropical with that. I forgot what card that was. I think it's my Treasure Island card. So it's usually a warm tropical climate. Reminds me of like Bahamas, Jamaica, the Caribbean, that kind of stuff. But it could be tropical anywhere, guys. And this would mean a really nice vacation for you guys. And also relaxation to, bring the batteries back and recharge you from all the other stuff that is occurring and going on at the same time. They also say that risks are very good in Quadrant 2 as far as the prideful risks. So something that you take a lot of pride in, this is where you want to go all in on. This is where you want to take risks and go for it. It's an example, let's say you make jewelry, okay, and jewelry is your passion. That would be something that this here in Quadrant 2, that you could go do expos. You could go do jewelry shows. That would be taking risks, really putting yourself out there, getting your product out there, and really going for it. Not be afraid to do that, because that would be safe and conservative, which they didn't show. And it's something that you take pride in, though. So that's kind of the key there. If it's not something you take pride in, they don't really want you doing risks, okay? So that's going to wrap up Quadrant 2. Quadrant 3, guys. Another shorter quadrant. Quadrant 4 is going to be very busy. Quadrant 3, of course, is July, August, and September. And the main theme that they want to talk about is a new business or home renovations that is coming in on a delay. So this is something that is eking in or occurring to you. Hey, you know what? I should do this new business. I think I could design this better. I think I could provide this service better than other people do. Something like that, but it's on a delay. So it's saying that even though you're thinking about it now and the idea is like hit here in July, August, September, it doesn't mean that you should actually start the business at this moment. It's on a delay. So it's saying the inspiration presents, but it doesn't come full term until a later time. And they also say home renovations, that can be part of that card. That is my Ace of Wands. And when home renovations are on a delay, it's kind of the same idea. It's just saying, I really want to redo these wood floors. They're old. I want to redo them, something, modernize something. Or, hey, I want to redo the kitchen cabinets or whatever you're trying to do. But it's saying it's on a delay. So maybe Quadrant 3 is not the best time to do it. Maybe Quadrant 3 is the best time to plan to do it. We have a ping here for health in Quadrant 3 also. They show that there are new ideas that you guys are considering here in Quadrant 3. New inspiration that has come that wasn't there before. Quadrant 2 was a health ping too, but Quadrant 3 is new ideas. Something that wasn't there before. People, maybe you've heard of a new diet. Maybe you've heard of a new exercise trainer who's really good. You can check out their videos for free. Something like that. So there's new ideas in the health kind of column that is coming in Quadrant 3 as very, very good for you. It would be something really good to try, I do believe. That was really the only information they wanted to give us on 3 because they wanted to give you a bunch on 4. So Quadrant 4, guys, this is wrapping up your year with October, November, and December. The main theme is the return of a friend. This is a very interesting move here because this is somebody who maybe you did not think was coming back into your life that is going to at least present themselves and give you the opportunity to say, am I going to allow you into my life? Am I going to keep you kicked out? That kind of thing. So we have a return of a friend in some capacity. Different, of course, frequencies for different people. But they say you have a really great perception on this. So you are very much looking at this as a glass half full deal. You're not looking at this from like a victim mentality, like, oh, this person stole from me before, F them. You know what I mean? Like you look at this in a very mature way. And that's pretty much the big theme for somewhere in here for October, November, and December. It's a pretty big one, and it's a little bit vague, but it's specific enough that you're going to know when it comes for you. Now, as far as the personal pings, the specific ones here, we have one for work with an overflow of love. So really just wonderful work energy, guys. Whether it's doing something you love or some of you meeting love at work, I mean, it's going to be both probably for the sign. We have just such wonderful environmental stuff going on at work. Maybe it's just really the workload is lightened. Maybe you just are in a good place. Maybe you got promoted. Who knows? But we have love overflowing everywhere with work in Quadrant 4. Very nice. We also have good love coming in as good credit and good karma. Now, they're not talking about money there. They're talking about the karma. So this is good return on investment, guys. All the work that you've put out there, all the good love that you've sent out to the universe, it's coming back to you in Quadrant 4 in a big way through karma. So this is ROI, return on investment, all the good things that you've done for people. Whether it's favors, whether it's, holding the door for people, just being a nice person, smiling at people, the whole bit, it all adds up. And it's coming back to you in Quadrant 4. How is it coming back? That's the part I don't know. That's what you need a personal for. But love, very good comeback energy there in 4. And we also had a return of a friend. So maybe that return of a friend is more than a friend. For some people it will be. And that is that good returning karma. Unless it's not, unless it's bad returning karma. But, it feels more positive there. So if the return of a friend for you, what you're thinking about would be somebody like, oh, I don't want them coming back. That's not what we're talking about here, because this is good karma. We have another ping here on busy and productive for Quadrant 4. They say one focal point only, though. So this is like getting busy about one thing. It's not getting busy about like, oh, I'm going to be busy at work, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to be busy at home and, play with the kids and have family game night and do all these things. And then the next morning, I'm going to go to the gym. Spirit's saying, no. You need to focus on one thing here in this quadrant. These 3 months, wrapping up your year, October, November, and December, are all about one thing. So they want you very, very tunnel vision on one goal or one accomplishment or what you're trying to do the most. Maybe something new that's entered, the new business that was on a delay before. Maybe it's popping in 4. They didn't come out and say that, but for some people it will be. Other people it'll be the year after. But they want you to focus on one thing. So that's very important for getting busy. What to get busy with is one focal point. They do talk about vacation and relaxation pinging in Quadrant 4, but they say after the crazy cycle ends. And they basically say that you'll understand this message later. So that means you're not going to get it now. Most things in Quadrant 4, I would imagine we don't know what they are right now. But that also infers that there is going to be a crazy cycle somewhere in here. And maybe that'll be 2 or 3 or maybe even part of 4. Hard to say with the way time moves. Time is very fluid, but they say there will be a crazy cycle and you'll understand later. So this is going to be the time to vacation after that cycle concludes. Once things calm down a little bit, then you are free in Quadrant 4 to move about the country. Let's move down to our last ping, which is when to be safe and conservative in Quadrant 4. They basically bring in the peace and relax card. So I think that goes back to vacation. It is a safer vacation. So, I don't want you traveling to places with high crime rate or high political violence, all these kind of things. Hey, just a nice little safe vacation would be good here. Nice little recharge of the batteries. And, how can you beat that? Just a nice little safe vacation, maybe not too far. Also, maybe you just a cheap vacation. Sometimes less is more. And that's what comes up there for safe and conservative. They talk about peace, finding peace, and finding relaxation. So you can see now how all this is an outline, guys. It outlines the entire year. Of course, we're looking at Pisces, and that is why that big bubble energy, you guys are great. But at the same time, we have a lot of energy here contributing to this reading, and that's why you need a personal. You need one of these that is all about you. And I offer that January only. It is my Quadrants mini audio product, personalized. It's the same idea as this, same exact subject matter. You're looking at all the different categories in the quadrants and how it lines up to you instead of the sign. And that is something that you need to plan and prepare very important things into your life, and that you can basically just hit that button and pull that trigger and get moving with your 2023 in strength and in confidence, and you guys are good to go. So that has been the entire thing, guys. Check that out at the website, scottsagent.com, January only. I hope you all have a wonderful 2023, and I'll see you soon.